Good afternoon, the Chairman, Human Rights Defenders and Access to Justice Advocate Center, our legal department, co-colleagues and legal viewers, and Queen Mrs. Solution, alive from our Ikeja Allen Avenue branch, have a case of unlawful dismissal reported and seizure of salary reported by Ibe Juliet against Mr. Johannas of Orange Drugs. Please join us as we interview the complainant and the representative of Mr. Johannas Orange Drugs. Kindly visit our website on www.hrdac.org.ng for more useful information and subscribe to our YouTube channel on Access to Justice TV. Thank you. Pull up that mask. I want to hear you clearly. What is the issue?
I work for.
Speak loud.
I work for Mr. Johannas for 8 years. So working for Mr. Arif. So Mr. Johannas brought me to somebody and told me to stop working for Mr. Arif, that I should work for Mr. Granadi. So after that, I stopped working for Mr. Johannes or Mr. Arif. In the next 3 months and 4 months, Mr. Johannes now told me to.
Can you speak louder than that?
Okay. After that, Mr. Johannes told me to stop working for him. His wife said she wants to work by herself. So they stopped me working for them. After a month, Mr. Granadi send me message that he wants to work by himself. I asked them.
Are you feeling cool?
Yes.
All this AC, let us, feel comfortable and talk. I don't understand what you're saying.
Thank you. So 2 of them stopped me work. That's no busy.
What did they work there?
I dey clean house for them.
They clean house for them?
Yes.
Where?
For Mr. Johnny's house.
Which area now?
Ikeja.
Ikeja.
Community road number 2/4 Community Road Allen.
Is it Indian? Is it Lebanese?
Indonesia, yes.
Okay, you worked there for how many years?
I worked for Mr. Johannes 8 years.
You were cleaning the house?
Yes.
How much was your salary?
25,000.
25,000?
Yes.
You start with 25,000?
Yes.
And you start with 25,000 for 8 years?
It starts from 20,000.
20,000?
Yes.
8 years ago?
Yes.
And they are paying you, when did they start paying you 25,000?
It don't reach 7 years. No, 4 years.
4 years?
Yes.
So you work 20,000 for 4 years?
Yes.
Then after 4 years, they started paying you 25,000?
Yes.
How many hours do you work?
Like, we don't have hours, but I used to enter work 7 o'clock.
And close what time?
Sometimes I close by 12, sometimes I close by 2, sometimes 11.
In the night?
No, in the afternoon, in the 11 or 12 in the afternoon.
Mm-hmm.
So in the evening, I go back around 4:30, close by to 6 or 7.
You work 2 sections in the day?
2 times.
You resume 7 o'clock. And you close
sometimes
1, sometimes 12,
yes,
sometimes 11.
Yes.
Then after which you go back?
I go back in the evening on around 4:30.
4:30 in the evening.
Yeah.
And you close?
I close by 6 or 5.
So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Work for 5 hours in the morning. Then you resume 4 o'clock.
Yeah, in the evening time.
And close 6.
I close 6 or 5.
Close 6 or 5.
Yes.
So approximately 7 hours in a day. Okay, go ahead.
So after they tell me to stop working for Mr. Arif, because I have already worked for Mr. Arif 2 years. So after I work for Mr. Arif, so
all of them live for the same compound?
Yes, the same compound. So Mr. Johannes told me that I should stop working for Mr. Arif. I should working for Mr. Grandidi. Granadi, I don't know how to speak the name. The one that he bring for this year, the man just come new for this January. But I start working for the man February. The time I come back from my father burial, I start working for Mr. Granati, the one Johannas I should work with, that they want to do it company to company, because that Arif in own apartment na Bosca. So that Johannes he own na sundress.
I don't understand you.
I mean, Johannes is
Are they in the same compound?
Yes, the same compound.
The same compound?
Yes.
How many rooms?
They have their own apartment.
Like how many rooms now? 2 bedroom,
Yeah.
3 bedroom, 1 room?
2 bedroom.
2 bedroom.
Yes.
How many flats in one compound?
Each is, I don't know how to explain that one.
As you dey here now, you don't know how many rooms dey here.
I know, but for my madamia is two room. It's two room each room.
I want to know how many rooms you dey clean.
2 room with the parlor, kitchen, everything.
That one na 1 flat.
Yeah, 1 flat.
Then the other one
is the same 1 flat.
1 flat.
Yes.
So you work for this Mr. Johannas for 8 years.
Yes.
Then after 8 years, he move you and give to who?
No, he no give me to anybody. After I'm working for Mr. Johannes. Working for Mr. Arif for 2 years. Work for Mr. Johannes 8 years now. So after
making 10 years.
Yes, making 10 years I'm staying in that compound.
Okay.
So after Mr. Johannes bring somebody from a country to come Nigeria, he now told me to stop working for Mr. Arif, that I should work for the one that he bring new, that they want to do it company to company. So after he stopped me for that Mr. Arif, in the next 3 months or 4 months, Mr. Johannes now told me that he want to be working by himself with his wife. They stopped me for working with them. So after that,
you now started working with the new one?
Yes, the new one. The new one now travel. We no reach 2 weeks when they in travel. He now sent me message that he want to work by himself. I asked him what happened. He did not reply. I even call him, he did not answer my call. So that is all.
Is that all?
Yeah.
Are they owing you?
No, they pay me my salary.
They pay you your salary?
Yes.
And when did the person tell you that he don't want to work with you again? He want to work by himself?
Yes.
When did he tell you?
Mr. Arif.
Yes. The
Mr.
one that travel. How many months he traveled before?
Just 2. He never reached 2 weeks. He traveled. He now sent me a message that he want to work by himself.
When Mr. Johannas stop you?
On July 24th.
July 24th.
Yes.
Did he inform you down that you are not going to work again with him, or he just called you, tell you you are not to work with him again?
Yeah, I just finish my work for his house.
Yes.
He now tell me to sit. I sit down. He now told me that they want to work by themselves.
Just like that?
Just like that.
Okay.
Then say I did not do them anything. Then they want to work by themselves. I said okay, fine. Later, after how many months? September. The new one now send me message from his country. Tell me that he want to work by himself this September 1st. He told me that he want to work by himself. So I said okay, if they want to work by themselves, why they stop me for working with Mr. Arif?
Yes.
Therefore leave me so that I will be working with the man.
Yeah.
They now stop me. They first stop me for Mr. Arif. After that, before they can't stop me for their own. After that,
where is the Mr. Johannas?
It's at home. It's number 2/4 Community Road.
If the man is why are you representing him? Because the complaint is directly on him because she's not working with you.
Can I say something?
Sure.
My name is Festus.
Yes.
I have to introduce myself. I am a lawyer. And I've been the lawyer of the company for years.
Yeah.
The letter that was served from this office,
yeah,
I think was on the 6th of this month, was referred to me that this is the issue. At that time, the man himself was not available, was not around. I think the following day, which was the 7th, I called because the letter was asking for the meeting to be on the 8th by 2 p.m. I called one of your ladies here because the lady answered me and told him that he's not available. I may not be available until even this report, in difference to the office, I will come because he told me exactly everything that happened.
So what happened?
So I now came. He told me, yes, this year a young lady worked for him.
Yes.
That in 2016, she was working for somebody when he came into that same compound.
Mm-hmm.
That person left. Before that one left, he now told him that he will need the services of somebody like her to clean the house and everything. And by the way, he emphasized that her work did not even include cooking, that his wife cooks for him. But it's about cleaning and the dusting of the household, which is what she was doing. And the house, they are staying in a compound, has different apartments with other nationals of Indonesians staying in the same place with them. So at the point, after a while, some other people came. They now requested that can he allow her to also help them and that they will remunerate her for whatever she does in cleaning the place. She said, no problem. Meanwhile, all the way she has been living in that compound. She was given an accommodation. So overall, a point now came in on the 24th, which she actually mentioned. He told me that they now felt, we don't really need the services of this young lady again. His wife said she can handle some of these things this young lady has been doing. Let us dispense with her service. So they sat down, just like she said.
Can you speak up a little?
They sat down and discussed and agreed that they no longer require her services, which they now told her from on the 24th exactly that her services will no longer be required. On my
how many days interval? How many months notice? How many days notice? How many weeks notice?
Okay, I'm coming. That very day they told her that they will no longer require her services was the actual time her work stopped. But they paid her salaries for July. On the 24th, they told her they still paid her salary for July and August, the whole of August. Even though she did. Of course, that was really like in lieu of notice.
That means in lieu of
notice. Yes. They still paid her that July and paid her August. I have evidence of that, which is sent to me. It's on my phone, right here. Was paid into her account. So she was staying I think in an apartment, maybe like boys' quarters in the place. And the point now came, it's like she has nobody she's working for anymore. It became like, okay, if she's no more working for anybody in this compound, why then will she continue to stay? Okay. So the people that manages the place now are like, since she's no more working for anybody, then we will have to ask her out of the place so that the place can be put to other use. I think the person that was now trying to ask her out of that place started contacting her. That, in my view, is her grievance, that she's been asked out of the place when she has nothing again, no salary coming again, nothing again. That was why I believe she's aggrieved. So, because I personally, interviewed Mr. Johannas, that is there any issue of abuse? Was there any issue of assault? Was there any issue? Because all these things are issues that touch directly on the human right of anybody. Mr. Johannes is a foreigner, I know. She's a Nigerian, I know. I am a Nigerian. But the point I made to Mr. Johannes is, did you at any point, or your wife, did any of you assault the lady? Did you do anything to tamper with her own rights? He said, no, it's just about this issue. Just about this issue. So I now said, okay, since you are not available, I will come and explain all this. That is exact. She was paid. She was paid in lieu of notice. July ending, even though she was asked to stop on the 24th. And August ending, she was paid. I have the evidence. I have the proof. She sent it to me.
Okay, it's not about the evidence, because if you listen to her statement carefully, she was not only working with Mr. Johannas, she was equally working with someone else. Mr. Johannas disengaged her from where she ought to be collecting other remuneration. He disengaged her, which she has no right. If he doesn't need her service, then he has no other reason or other right to disengage her with another person where she was working. And she did not just disengage her, she disengaged her and linked her with someone who also terminated her appointment without leave of notice, neither other notification before they disengaged her. So why would they want to evict her from the house? That she should use, how will she go? She should be able to share. They would allow her, one, if they terminated her appointment without leave of notice, they have to pay her for that, one. Number two, Johannes that have his conclusion with his family and discover that she have worked with them, and moreover, working, we should understand that there must be a stipulated time that you work with an individual, organization or company, that your salary ought to be reviewed. She worked for 10 years and she started to work with 20,000, and they review her salary with how many percentage? How many percent did they review her salary? 4 years or 5 years after service. Then they terminated her appointment by using her here and there, which is not acceptable. It's also against her rights. Where he introduced her to, if they don't need her service, they ought to have informed her, give her a notice of 1 month. We don't need your service. And if they had to evict her from the premises, they should have given her a proper notice to organize herself and find a comfortable place to move out from the place.
Can I comment there?
Sure.
The place belongs to an organization, managed by an organization. It is those who are responsible for managing that apartment, those places, that actually have that place she stayed. So she never, Johannes never opened his mouth to say, this lady should leave. It is those who manages the place and saw that this lady is no more working for anybody.
How will they know that this lady is not working for anybody without, if it's not them that informed them that this lady is redundant in the compound?
But there's one issue she has not openly told us.
Okay, what is the
people
issue?
She said Mr. Johannes introduced her to work for her.
Yes, please.
Were they paying her? I never had that. It's hard to say whether those ones who are paying her. It's like this, I bring somebody.
Yes.
We are living in separate apartment in the compound.
Yes.
I introduce somebody to you that this person can also work for you.
If they don't pay her, then the journalists will pay her for their service because she introduced, because certainly they have to pay her.
She's the one that will have to say it.
Of course, they should pay her. Yes, let's hear from you.
Sorry, sir. You are saying that I'm not working with anybody. I'm working with person. I'm working with that Granadi. I don't know how to speak the name of the Granadi that Mr. Johannes brings. Say I should work with him, that they want to do it company to company. I'm working with him before the man now travel, and then in country send me message that he want to work by himself, even though the message is inside my
it's more or less conspiracy because he's having the same
that Granadi he mentioned. He told me that bit that the man said he was traveling abroad to bring his family. I don't know if you are aware of that fact.
I don't know.
To bring his family. While there, his own work terminated. While he went away. Why? Because he overstayed.
Who overstayed?
The man he's talking about, Granadi.
Yes.
He couldn't come back again.
So he's not coming back to this country again?
Yes. So he couldn't come back. That was why he called and said, look, I no longer will need your service.
The man is at home. The man is already come back.
Okay.
He's already in Nigeria.
Yes, now.
You heard her.
It's already back.
But you are not working for her again.
Yes,
so,
he's the one who sent me a message that I should stop working.
If it's not working, they should pay her leave of notice. Number one, they can't just stop
that's
her.
Grenade.
Yes, because they were using her alone in the whole compound, and she was working for them on monthly basis.
Yes, monthly basis.
Sure, they were paying her monthly salary. So who doesn't need her service? Because if she equally stopped without informing them, I know definitely they'll get her arrested, or even, for whatever reason, which is not normal. She can terminate her own appointment in such manner.
Julia, you worked for Grenade, didn't you?
Yes, I work for him.
Was he paying you?
He's paying me.
Mm-hmm.
When he stopped you, is he not supposed to pay you?
It's Mr. Johannas told me that I should work for Mr. Grenade, that I should not working with Mr. Arif, that they want to do it company to company. This is what Mr. Johannas told me. So after I stopped working for Mr. Arif, in the next 4 months or 3 months, Mr. Johannas now told me that they don't want me to work with them again. After they stopped me that 24th of July, on September, Mr. Grenade then in country again tell me that he want to work by himself. The same thing that Mr. Johannes' wife and the two of them told me, that they want to work by themselves. And that before, as Mr. Johannes stopped me, I still working for Mr. Grenade.
Well, madam, with due respect, the whole issue here, the way I see it, Grenade owe her to pay her in lieu of notice also. Because, yes, anybody is allowed to introduce somebody to somebody, to work for somebody.
So, but not just that kind of thing. It's like he remote control her. She was working with Johannas, and nobody knows her. Neither did she approach anybody. Can I work with you even while I'm working with Mr. Johannas? No. Mr. Johannas, the same way they use them over there, same way he come there to use her under our nose, which we are not going to take. One, her salary is supposed to be reviewed. She can't work for 8 or 10 years for 25,000. It's not done anywhere. And if you are to be her lawyer, what would be your stand in her life?
Let me say something.
The salary, they need to review her salary even if she's no more there.
Okay.
Yes, her salary need to be reviewed, which they need to pay her. Then if Mr. Johannas have paid her in lieu of notice, no problem. But why did he stop her working with the other person which he introduced to her, and he pulled her out again, introduced her to another person? The same person he introduced to her also cut off using the same excuses for no just cause. Was she stealing? Was she not performing her duty? What should be the reason? And the third person excuse her of her duty without leave of notice.
If I may say something, I am a Nigerian like her. That's the last thing I would do, to do anything that will be against, because you don't do things against your own person. He told me the whole of this thing, and I looked at it. If I saw anything that is against the interest of this young lady here, I would have told him. But for me,
so haven't you seen?
She was engaged. Come and clean my house for me. She started cleaning. She was there. She was put in an apartment, in a place there to live. And somebody came. He introduced her. Please, work for this man. It will improve your income, your monthly pay. Work for this, work for that. And she worked for them.
Now,
so
what now
the issue now is
the same person now pulled her.
The issue now is because he now said, okay, those ones said they don't need her services again. And he cannot compel them that she must continue to work for them. She on her own, he on his own. He on his own and his wife decided that they don't need her services again. Which he did. Terminate. So the fact that he introduced,
so she don't reserve the right to be notified.
The period that she earned all those monies from other people, why is she not reckoning with them?
Okay, the period that they engaged her, what makes you think she wouldn't have been engaged with another person outside? Must she work in that premises?
Nobody compelled her.
Sure, that is what the question you asked me, same question I'm putting up to you. Because if she's not engaged, somebody else would have engaged her because she know her routine. If she's not engaged in the compound, someone else would have engaged her even within Allen Avenue because she knew her routine.
She has been working there. She used to the compound. She works for Mr. A, works for Mr. B, and making money for herself.
Making money for herself. Excuse me.
Yes.
It's her service. She render her service,
yes,
and they need to pay her.
Exactly.
And if they don't need her service, of course, she have never imposed herself on anybody. Neither has she moved from house to house begging who she will work for. She knew who employed her, who she had been working for how many years. The same person move her. This person is not a minor, it's an adult. And engaging her with another person, you are expecting remuneration from that. So if they are paying her and there is a contract between two of them, if they want to disengage her, there should be, of course, there must be a reason, an outside reason, genuine reason. She should be notified.
Yes.
Because if her service was not engaged, then there's no reason why she will not find other place where she can engage her service and she will equally be paid. Because she have planned. She must have her planned. If 3 people are paying her in a month, then she have her own other things that she have planned down, what she should use her money for. But if you disengage that without informing her, then you also did not pay her leave of notice, and you are, asking any other person or trying to connive or conspire, asking the other person to disengage her without notice. Where is it done?
Well, the complaint by this young lady is against Mr. Johannas, and it is because of him I came. I did not come with you because of the other people.
It's Mr. Johannas that linked her to every other person. She know nobody from that compound. She worked with Mr. Johannas. Mr. Johannas introduced her to the second person, and equally introduced her to the third person. So the names that she also calling, she have never worked directly with them without Johannas introducing her to them.
That's a bit I have to say on this, because it's based on the.
Well, we will come there. If he cannot come here, and if you are not in the position of giving us the proper answer or respond to her, she will be paid off on giving her what is due for her. Then we'll visit there.
Paid by who again, Mr. Johannes, or is it directly another issue?
Mr. Johannes disengaged her from the person. They need to pay her for that. Mr. Johannes need to review her salary that she has worked for how many years? 20,000 for 8 years. You as a lawyer, you know what it is, which you cannot take. Then the third person Johannes introduced her to have to pay her leave of notice.
Well, I don't know what else to say. I've said the bit I have to say.
Okay, you prepare will stage a protest to that place. Which place is he working?
Me?
Which place is Johannes working?
He work in Orange Trust office.
Which address?
Well, but I don't know the address.
But you know the compound.
Yeah, I know the compound where Johannes is living.
We're only going to write to that office. If you don't respond, if you are standing as a lawyer and you don't respond back to us within 7 days, we will write our letter to this and we'll come there. Then we'll pay her. And I don't know the office you are representing that you are telling me you don't have what to say.
Private practitioner, madam.
Private practitioner, you should be. Then you should know your reason why you are representing the man. If you are not capable of representing and you cannot qualify me,
coming here now, what offense?
You have committed a lot of offense because if you cannot represent the person, then you have no reason of coming here.
Which offense have I committed by coming here? By giving respect to this office and answering to a letter.
You should have allowed the man to honor the invitation himself because you had what she said. And you as a lawyer, you should know the right thing.
You don't tell me that I don't know what to say.
What do you have to say?
I've said everything I have to say.
What have you said?
Madam, please.
What have you said?
Take it easy and let us try and understand ourselves.
We want to understand ourselves, but in a situation where you feel she has no right because Mr. Johannas have paid her in lieu of notice, then every other person should throw her out of the place.
We have to look into this matter in a very critical way.
Let's look at it. You rub the mind.
Please write. Write your letter, please. Write. There are ways we can go about this. Even as a lawyer, parties come to me, I resolve their matters.
How do you resolve when you say you don't have any other thing to say?
I do.
I should first word out of you.
Okay, what else do you want me to say now?
But I've talked over how many minutes, but you told me you don't have any other thing to say.
Okay, madam, okay, now, let me calm down. We have spoken here. It is for me to get back to Mr. Johannas and say exactly your position on this issue.
If you had said you revert back to the office, then, of course, then I will give you the chance to get back to him. Yes. Then when you said you don't have anything to say,
of course, then I've said everything I have to say. What else again?
Is that a proper response? You've said everything you want to say.
Madam, before I came here, I was instructed and I was given the facts on his own side. She has said her own side. The facts on his own side is what I have stated here. And the other issues came up, which you raised. I haven't raised those. I will get back to Mr. Johannas.
Then you can equally excuse this office and step out and make call to confirm the statement of this lady.
Madam,
except you have all the time to come back for another meeting.
I will get back there. I will get back to him. I will try and contact him. I will discuss with him and get back to you. That's what I can do at this point. And as a lawyer,
you would do
to show my own my own contribution in trying to resolve the matter. I say I will get back to you based on all the issues you have raised. You raised the issue of having introduced him to other people, and they also
disengage with notice.
I will raise that issue. I will raise the issue of salaries. You say she said she has worked for 8 years.
For 10 years.
She was raised only once.
Yes.
No, she said 8 years.
You said 10 years. Say work for Johannas for 8 years. Yes. Yeah.
She didn't work for Johannas for 10 years. She worked for Johannas for 8 years. So that issue also came up here, and you raised it. I said, I will raise all these issues, and then I'll get back to you.
Okay, when would that be, please?
That's what I've said.
Okay, when would that be?
I don't know whether I will have to even write to you.
Sure, if you want to write, fine.
We'll do. Today is Tuesday.
Yes, please.
I don't know. Between now and Friday, you get my letter.
Good.
Yes.
Thank you for being with us. Kindly visit our website on www.hrdac.org.ng and subscribe to our YouTube channel on Access to Justice TV. Follow us on our Facebook page of Human Rights Defenders and Access to Justice Advocate Center. Yes, from the statement of the lawyer you frequently heard from him, you're going to get back to us between now and Friday. Let him discuss with Mr. Johannas and every other parties that are involved as far as this case is concerned. We'll bring to you our updates as soon as that is done. Thank you and have a very wonderful day. We'll be back in a moment.